everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Alpa Doshi for revision sessions on my subject Organization of Commerce and Management, Maharashtra State Board. So as we have come very close to the internal tests which we have to be taken in the college, the 20 marks application based test. It's time to conduct some wonderful revision sessions, and here we are with a series of revision. We will be beginning with the application-based test, the 20 marks internal test which will be conducted by the college. So to begin with right away, I would like to share my screen and we talk about the basic paper pattern. So if we're going to talk about the paper pattern, you'll be seeing here that the entire paper, which is of 20 marks, is divided into 4 questions. The very first question we have is correct the underlined word and rewrite the sentences. So once we see this question, dear students, please remember that whenever we have this type of a question, you will be given a sentence. One particular word is underlined in it. That word is wrong. It's incorrect. What you have to do is you have to change that underlined word. You remember, please change only the underlined word, and also there will be space provided for you to rewrite the sentence. As you know, the ABT paper has to be solved in the question paper itself. So the very beginning, please make a note of this, that you will be required to solve the paper on the question paper itself. Space will be provided. So question number 1, a word is wrong in a sentence. You have to correct it in the right context and change it. 4 questions will be given, no option in this, all 4 have to be attempted. The next one, the second question, same thing like fill in the blanks. So when you have fill in the blanks, you have a particular dash given, and that is nothing but complete the sentence. So once again, 4 marks for this. The next question which you have in the objective part of the ABT, the application based test, as you see here. So under this paper pattern, once again you see question number 3 is either find the odd one out. So all 3 will be the questions of 4 options are given. You have to choose one of them which does not belong to the other 3 which are in a category. The other possibility is you can also be asked arrange in proper order. As you see here, 3 marks on either find the odd one out or arrange the proper order. Depends on how your college chooses to set the paper. Remember, this paper pattern is common to both Organization of Commerce and Management as well as to Secretarial Practice. So please do make good use of it and make sure that you are going to be remembering this paper pattern by heart. The last and the 4th question that you have. So far we have had objectives. The next part is now your question on case studies. There will be 4 questions in the paper. Cases will be given. Questions will be followed. 3 questions per case. All the 3 belong to the same chapter, obviously. And thereafter, you will be given space to write down your answers. Answers should be in 1 sentence. So you will be given 4 questions. Here, dear students, you have objective, you have options. You will be given 4 in the question paper, out of which you have to attempt any 3. Very simple cases will be given. So we move on now to the next. So totally, as you see, your total marks in the ABT paper is going to be 20 marks. Plus you have 11 marks of objectives and 9 marks of case studies. So moving ahead, we will now be talking about the paper pattern that or the sample questions. We will actually be doing a question bank. All right. So I hope everybody is ready with their textbooks and pens and pencils. Please put your headphones on, shut your notifications so that you can focus on the revision. And please focus on the question bank which we specially prepared with the most important board paper objectives. There are many more, but we've tried our best to include the ones which are really, really very popular with the board question papers. So talking about it, I'll share my screen once again. We start with the application-based test revision. We have 20 marks on this. A question bank has been given. As we saw in the paper pattern, we are going to be having revision or sample questions of ABT questions of all the 4 types. The question number 1, correct the underlined word and rewrite the sentence. As we see here, it carries 4 marks. The first one, as soon as you get any objective, it will be a wonderful habit to first identify the chapter. It's extremely important that you remember by heart the names of all the 8 chapters in your textbook. The very first objective now, Henry Fayol is regarded as the father of scientific management. As we see here, the word scientific has been underlined. The word scientific is wrong. Obviously, when you have this particular word underlined, please note that definitely this is the wrong word, the wrong answer. What you have to do is, in the space provided, you have to rewrite the entire sentence. Henry Fayol is regarded as, so everything else remains the same except only the underlined word. So you will change scientific to the correct answer, saying Henry Fayol is the father of modern management and not of scientific management. Okay, so everybody knows the father of scientific management is F.W. Taylor. Okay, very important question. One of these 2 definitely comes in the board exam. Please make it a note to by heart this answer perfectly. Henry Fayol, modern management. F.W. Taylor, scientific management. Alright, so that's for the first one. We go to the second one now. Members of an organization should receive orders from many superiors. Alright, so as we see, the word many has been underlined. We identified the chapter. Once again, it's from Principles of Management. Henry Fayol has given us 14 principles. One of the principles is unity of command. So this particular sentence belongs to the principle of unity of command, where it says that one individual, one member should receive orders only from one superior and not from many superiors. So remember, you have to change the word only, which is underlined, and nothing else in the sentence has to be changed. Please rewrite the entire sentence in the space which is provided in your question paper in the ABT exam. Question number 3. The functions of management start with controlling. Obviously, this is from the second chapter of functions of management, and the word which is underlined, controlling, is definitely wrong. So as we know, the very first function of management is the function of management which starts with planning. So we change the word from controlling to planning and rewrite the entire sentence. The fourth one, overdraft facility is available to savings. As soon as we see the word savings is underlined, we know that it is incorrect, and now the correct answer should be overdraft facility is available to current account holders. Please remember, as we discuss this, please note, in this particular ABT exam, these could be in the format of correct the underlined word. It could be in the format of complete the sentences. In your final exam, 80 marks also, all of these are the most important objectives. So in any format, if they are asked, even if it is asked as true or false, or it could be asked as match the pair, you should be able to use this, what you're learning here in this revision, and make use of it even in your final exam or any other format of objective wherever you get. So moving ahead to the fifth objective, the main objective of consumer protection is to protect the interest of the producer. As we see, the word producer is wrong, and consumer organizations work in the interest of the consumers should be the correct answer. We identified the chapter here, and we see here it's from chapter number 7 of consumer protection, and under that we see that all consumer organizations work towards the welfare of consumers, obviously. You see the next one now. Packaging means giving a distinct name to a product. Obviously, the word packaging is wrongly given there, and the correct meaning, the correct option for the word should be branding means giving a distinct name to a product. All right, so this is how we have to replace the wrong word with the correct word, as well as rewrite the entire sentence. Moving ahead. Hard cash is the form of electronic currency that exists only in cyberspace. As we see here, the correct answer for this is digital cash. So as we know that electronic currency is something which exists only in cyberspace is naturally incorrect. So they're saying it's something which is only online, and definitely cash is in physical form. As we know, this particular topic is from the chapter of emerging modes of business, and under emerging modes of business you have this particular answer where we talk about the different forms of payment in online transactions. Correct? So as we move ahead, we see the next question, number 8. Decentralization means concentration of powers and authorities. When we are talking about this, first, please remember to identify the chapter. Once again, we're talking about the first chapter, Principles of Management, where we have a principle which says there has to be one central authority, and that comes under principle of centralization. And so the correct answer should be centralization means concentration of powers and authorities. Please rewrite this sentence and put the word centralization in a box. Okay? Very important. Please make it a habit to put this inside a box, cover around it, and that's really what makes it, very, very important for the examiner to check the paper. The next question. It is difficult to set e-business compared to traditional business. Once again, we see here, when we are talking about setting up of an e-business, we basically are going to focus on the chapter. We're talking about the chapter of emerging modes of business. And here again, we see the word difficult is definitely incorrect, and the correct answer should be it is difficult to set e-business compared to traditional business. So this is the 9th one. We've just changed the word difficult to easy. Please box the word easy in your exam paper. Going to the next sentence. State Commission entertains complaint where the value of goods or services paid as consideration does not exceed rupees 1 crore. So if you see here, once again, we are talking about the particular amount. Since State Commission has been underlined, it is incorrect. We have to see which is the correct answer. Please identify the chapter. As we know, this is the chapter number 7, Consumer Protection. Will really be wonderful for you if you actually stop the video, go to the 7th chapter, check up your pages, go to the distinction at the end of the chapter, and you'll find this statement there. And the correct answer for this should be, when it is not more than 1 crore, it is District Commission which entertains complaints where the value of goods or services paid on consideration does not exceed rupees 1 crore. At this point, let me make a note. State Commission entertains complaints of which are 1 crore and above, but less than, does not exceed 10 crores. So the limits are 1 crore to 10 crore for State Commission, and above 10 crores it is for National Commission. So if you see the distinction at the end of the 7th chapter, you'll get these points that we are talking about. So moving ahead, we see the next objective now, commodity markets. As we see and we identify the name of the chapter, it's from chapter number 8, and that is the chapter on marketing. So under the chapter marketing, we see here that whatever the topic is, under commodity market, it refers. So once commodity market is underlined, obviously it's incorrect. If you know, the chapter has a topic called types of markets. Lots of objectives are possible from there. As you see the sentence here, commodity markets refers to the markets for borrowing and lending capital or long-term capital required by business. Okay, so here we are seeing, naturally we are not talking, there's not commodity market, so it's not gold, bullion, or it's not shares. It's basically finance, and so the type of market that is called as capital market. So capital market refers to the market for borrowing and lending of capital or long-term capital. So everything else remains the same. Please rewrite the sentence. A very important topic, lots of objectives are possible here. Moving ahead, we now go to the next question, and that is complete the sentences. As we know, this is nothing but fill in the blanks. 4 marks are going to be awarded for this, and under these 4 marks, you have no choice. All 4 have to be attempted. We have tried to include the most popular ones. These objectives, dear students, are going to be extremely important for you even when you are doing your topic on your final exam preparations. So the first one, dash is the function of comparing actual performance with predetermined standards. So you have a dash given there, and we know from the chapter of functional management, once again, lots of objectives from this chapter, as we know, can be easily learned and completed from the distinguish between. So what is basically the controlling function? You have a particular standard set. You have to keep checking whether your actual performance is in par or going in line with it. And so controlling is a function of comparing actual performance and predetermined standards. And the answer is control. We go to the second one now. Like we already discussed earlier, scientific management theory given by F.W. Taylor. I hope by now it's absolutely memorized by you. You see the third, complete the sentence. From the chapter of business services, we have the topic principles of insurance. Under principles of insurance, the third principle, that is principle of indemnity. To give you a brief reminder, indemnity is that principle which does not apply to life insurance, as it says that the compensation awarded cannot be more than the actual loss. In case of life insurance, actual loss cannot be measured in monetary terms. You cannot say the value of a human being to be a certain amount, and so indemnity does not apply to life insurance. A very popular justify question, as well as a popular objective, possible in different ways. So indemnity, it does not apply to life insurance, but fire and marine are both supposed to be contracts of insurance, right? Moving ahead, once again, chapter of business services, topic is warehousing. Under that, different types of warehouses. The last one in the list, cold storage, provides storage facilities for perishable goods. Okay, perishable, which have a very short life, which do not last for too long, like dairy products, fruits, vegetables, non-vegetarian products, etc. So answer is cold storage here. The next you see here, online transaction is done with the help of internet. Dash transactions are done with the help of internet. So a very simple answer, online transactions. Once again, you can also be asked, online transactions can be done with the help of dash. Okay, so then your answer will be internet. So once again, you see here in ABT paper pattern, you don't have questions like multiple choice. There is no option given. You have to memorize the words. So please do refer to these objectives very well, and I'm sure it will benefit you in answering your ABT papers. We see the next one here. The process of contracting a business function to specialized agencies is known as outsourcing. The name of the chapter, Emerging Modes of Business. The last topic, the 5th chapter, last topic that you have is about outsourcing. Just before KPO, LPO, BPO, which are all types of outsourcing. A very popular objective. Please remember it. If you are asked for answer in one sentence also, this becomes very important. Plus, we expect these questions even for 2 marks. Explain term or concept. In that case, you have to memorize this and a few other feature or aspects or definition of the same concept, right? Going ahead, we see the next objective. Name of the chapter, Social Responsibilities of Business Organization. So which responsibility? We know that there are different interest groups there. Responsibility towards owners, that's shareholders, towards government, employees and consumers, the 4 important ones. There's also the one on which objectives come, that is society. If you see the sentence here, very obvious, very simple, that this is responsibility towards government. Okay, so you have timely payment of taxes is a social responsibility of a business organization towards government. All right, so we have to remember the names of the different interest groups. Next, complete the sentence. Next, fill in the blank. In the question paper, you have to fill in your answer in this dash, which is provided in your ABT paper, right? So, the next one. Dash function of management means appointing the right person for the right job. Obviously, we're talking about the 3rd management function, and that is the management function of staffing. So, staffing function says that you have to appoint the right person for the right job. Similarly, you can have words like recruitment, training, promotion, all of these also represent the staffing function of management. So if you're going to see or distinguish between on the chapter, you will find all of these statements. The next, fill in the blank. The next, complete the sentence. It goes like this. The government has established dash to settle disputes by compromise. Okay, so by compromise, meaning there will be 2 parties which are in a dispute, and instead of actually going to the consumer court, which will take a longer time, there is this court called Lok Adalat, also known as People's Court. So the name of the chapter, Consumer Protection. Under that, you have a topic, 7 ways and means of consumer protection. So the very first one, remember the same question is become very popular for 2 marks also. So also prepare this for answering a 2 marks question. The government has established Lok Adalat. Another name is People's Court. So there is compromise by which the disputes are settled. Usually it is government cases, with the electricity board or railways, which are taken to the Lok Adalat. The next one, the term market is derived from the Latin word, which is mercatus. It means to trade. Here, the option, the word which you are asked is from which language, and so the answer is Latin. Suppose they ask you, the word market is derived from the Latin word dash. The answer is mercatus. If they ask you the word market is derived from the Latin word mercatus, which means to trade. So any of these possibilities, please prepare well for this. You see the next one now. Employment generation is the social responsibility towards dash. So very often students misunderstand this question and they immediately jump to the answer of responsibility towards employees. But please be very careful and remember that it is not the employees that they are creating jobs for. Employees already have a job. So employment generation is a responsibility towards society. If you see your textbook, your short note on responsibility towards society has a point on employment generation. Please be very careful. It's a bit confusing and you may lose marks here if you're not careful. We move to the next question now, and that's about find the odd one out. In the question paper, ABT paper, you may either have 3 marks of odd one out. 4 options are given. One of them does not fit in that category. So you have to pick up the odd one out, right? So that is the particular question here. If you see here, first one you have principle of authority and responsibility, motion study, principle of division of work, and principle of discipline. As it is very clear, the 3 principles of Henry Fayol are in one category, and here the option of motion study is the odd one out. So in the exams, it is fine if you rewrite this. Please put a box around motion study even while you're writing the question, as well as you can write the answer once again and mention motion study. You may, if your speed is not good enough, you may not rewrite the sentence and just write the correct number and the corresponding answer. As far as possible in objectives in your board exam, this of course has just simple space provided. So in that space provided, you have to write down the answer as motion study or as well as circle or box your particular aspect out of the 4 options. Moving to the next one. B2B, B2C, A to Z, C to C. Once again, we're talking about the chapter on emerging modes of business, the different forms of e-businesses that are done, under which we have business to business, that is B2B, business to customer, that is B2C, and the last one, that is C2C, that is customer to customer. And the third option of A to Z is the odd one out. Okay, so we see the other 3 have a common category and the last one is the odd one out. Moving to the next question now, you see here you have the options of job security, health and safety, as well as good working conditions plus reasonable profit. If we realize we are talking about jobs, we are talking about good working conditions, so this has got something to do with workers, employees. If you reflect, this is the topic of social responsibilities towards employees, and under that category you will find the 4th option here. Reasonable profit is what is responsibility towards owners and not towards employees. All the other 3 are responsibility towards employees, and so the odd one out is reasonable profit. Moving to the next one now, you see here you have the option of planning, organizing, staffing, writing, one of the most simple odd one outs. Writing is the odd one out. The other 3 are the different functions, the first 3 functions of management, and so writing is the odd one out. You see the next one here, BPO, RTO, LPO, KPO. As the titles go, please remember these are different forms of outsourcing. BPO is business process outsourcing, KPO is knowledge process outsourcing, LPO is legal process outsourcing. And so the odd one out is RTO. Alright? So please identify the chapter and then move ahead with the answers. So while we are doing this, very necessary that you keep remembering all these answers. You can stop the video, keep going to the textbook, make the markings, keep making your notes, whatever works with you. And so you can, make sure that you have it by heart right now. Okay, no more time to, keep revising. This might perhaps be the last 2 or 3 revisions for you all. Moving to the next one, you have odd one out between proper conduct of meeting, careful use of capital, plus you have fair prices of products and maintaining solvency and prestige. If you will see, 3 of these are talking for owners, okay, the shareholders. There they have to be called for meetings. The funds which they have given to the company should be carefully used. And the last one, the board of directors must keep the company solvent. Okay, they do not have to run into bankruptcy. So all these 3 put together, we now see which is the odd one out. Fair prices of products is the odd one out. So this is how you have the question here. Once again, a very simple one. District Commission, where complaints where consideration is less than 1 crore is entertained. State Commission is where 1 crore and less than or up to 10 crores is there. And National Commission is where complaints which exceed 10 crores are registered. So here we see the odd one out is nothing but the NGO, which is a non-governmental organization. That's a non-profit, non-political organization working for the welfare of the people, right? So right now, NGO is the odd one out here. We go to the next odd one out now. As you see, price, people, promotion, product. Once again, last chapter, under which you have the 4 P's, all right? So if you will see, there are 4 P's, amongst which people does not belong to the first 4 P's. There is another additional concept mentioned where it talks about the people. Here for now, please remember chapter of marketing, out of price, people, promotion and product, odd one out is people. Okay, so a part of the 4 P's that you have, under which you have physical distribution is the 4th one. People is not the 4th P, and that's why it is the odd one out. The next one, District Court Judge, High Court Judge, Commissioner, Supreme Court Judge. We are talking about the chapter of consumer protection, where you have the special consumers courts established. Under this, we see that the odd one out is the commissioner, because in all of these courts, the president of the district commission is the district court judge, state commission is the state high court judge, and of the national commission is the supreme court judge. So the odd one out naturally is commissioner. Once again, we have different modes of payment here from the chapter of emerging modes of business. And as we see here, debit card, credit card, Aadhaar card, ATM card, all of these are different forms of banking instruments. And so Aadhaar card is the odd one out. This completes your possible questions on odd one out. We're now going to the next part, and that's about the question on arrange in proper order. As we see in the board exam, ABT paper, you may either have choose the odd one out, any 3, or you may have arrange in proper order. Your college, I'm sure, will give you a question bank for doing this. But in any case, please make sure how you're going to be using this to the best of your benefit. Arrange in proper order, there will be a mixed up order given. As we see here, controlling, organizing, planning. You have to remember the order in which the topics have been discussed. First function of management is planning, followed by organizing, and thereafter comes controlling, which is the last management or the 6th management function. So please arrange them according to the order of how they start to how they end. The next similar arrange in proper order is directing, coordinating, staffing. And we see here, first the organization has to perform the staffing function. Thereafter, they have to carry out directing, instructions, guidance to the employees, and then again coordinating between different departments. So this is how please arrange them accordingly. Going to the next one here, we have the arrange in proper order for claim, accident, taking the policy, and compensation. So once again, what is the problem here? We are talking about the chapter of insurance, the fourth chapter, business services, 27 marks under that in your final exam also. Right now we see here claim, accident, taking the policy, compensation, which has to be done first. Obviously, we need to take the policy first, and then in case there is an accident, we make a claim, and which will be followed by the compensation. Money will be paid by the company for the losses that you've suffered because you had taken insurance for your property or assets or goods. So this is how we have arrange in proper order. Once again, you have a very popular one with the board. You see here, placing an order, cash on delivery, and registration. These are the steps of online transaction. Chapter number 5, emerging motor business. So when I'm trying to discuss this, please stop the video, go to that chapter, open your textbook, see where what we are talking about, and that will really help you remember it forever. Okay, so that's the first you see here. First, in online transaction, the person has to do registration. The second will be he will place an order. He has to take the goods to the shopping cart, and thereafter comes the stage of payment, under which the payment options includes, one of the payment options is cash on delivery, COD. So that's how you will arrange it in proper order and rewrite the answer correctly. Next we have is once again National Commission, District Commission, State Commission. So as we see, first the complaints of not exceeding 1 crore go to the District Commission. From 1 crore to complaints which do not exceed 10 crore go to the State Commission, and complaints of 10 crores and above go to the National Commission. So in the same order, we are going to arrange this. First, we have District Commission, then State Commission, and National Commission. Once again, a very similar thing to this: District Court Judge, Supreme Court Judge, High Court Judge. Naturally, we recorrect the order and make it to District Court Judge, High Court Judge, and then Supreme Court Judge. So this is how we have arranged in proper order. The seventh one you see here is from the chapter of marketing again. There is a topic called functions of marketing, an important 8 marks long answer question. And under that, you have the different 13 functions of marketing. If you will see there, and if we just read this, grading is classification of goods, okay, according to quality, etc. Market planning naturally has to be done first. Thereafter, you will then start grading the products, standardizing them, and further down, after you have arranged the other aspects, comes your stage of distribution. So that's how you change the order. This completes your question on the arrange in proper order. We quickly move on now to see the case studies, which are important. We have just done sample 7 case studies in this question bank. I think even if you refer to these 7 case studies, I have posted other videos and discussed the other case studies. I'm also planning to do many more revision videos of distinction, videos on how to do the case studies. Already a lot of these videos are posted on my channel Alpha Doshi. I request you all to please share, subscribe, Also please post your comments of how I can make a change, how I can make the videos more interesting or more useful for you. I would really appreciate if you can tell me whether you want me to do the videos in Hindi or English is fine. I'm trying to go as slowly as possible, but in case you need any of these, please do post comments in the suggestion box, in your comment box, so I get to know your feedback. We now go to the case study part. Under the case studies, you will see that once again in your question paper, you're going to be having 4, out of which you have to attempt any 3. Each case study carries 3 marks, and totally the paper will have 9 marks on case studies out of 20. Absolutely jackpot question. You cannot lose a single mark here. So moving ahead with our case studies, you will see here the very first case that we have here. In XYZ Company Limited, Mr. Lele is giving instructions. As soon as you read this, and if you will see the questions which follow here, we see that we are talking about the chapter of functions of management. Please note down from the distinguish between where you've learned the meaning of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, and controlling. The same words have been used here. So Mr. Lele gives instructions, provides guidance, motivates the employees. These 3 words mean that Mr. Lele is performing the function of direction. Do not go by in the question organization is first and Mr. Lele comes first, so Mr. Lele is doing organization. Very common mistake that students are making. Please remember instructions, guidance, motivation, all of these are talking about the management function of directing. The further next sentence, Mr. Syed is taking efforts to harmonize. The word harmonize comes in the management function, the 5th management function of coordination. He harmonized the work of different departments, sales, purchase, accounts, finance. He's trying to coordinate between them, make sure that they're all working in coordination with each other. And so Mr. Syed is performing the coordination function. Moving ahead, Mr. Desai is looking after the arrangement of the required resources, men, money, material, methods. These are the resources. So you'll need to buy machinery. You'll also need to buy raw materials. All of these resources have to be organized. And we see the word arrangement of resources is telling you that Mr. Desai is performing the organizing function, the 2nd management function. Dear students, just by doing the table, the comparative table, you will be able to answer these questions on case studies. In case you have decided to leave the chapter in choice, please see here now, organization. Now remember, you do not have to write the answer just in a few words. They have to be written in sentences. As it is seen here, Mr. Desai is engaged in the organizing function as he is looking after the arrangement of the resources. Direction. Mr. Lele is engaged in the directing function as he is giving instructions, guidance, and motivation to the employees. So if you see here that we are giving a sort of a reason also why Mr. Lele is said to be doing the directing function. Similarly, Mr. Syed is engaged in the coordination function as he is helping in harmonizing the work between the different departments. So that's your case study question. Moving ahead, we see the next case study here. Again, we identify the chapter once again from the first chapter of where we have I think the second chapter where we have the functions of management. So Mr. Ram, who is an entrepreneur, as soon as you have the word Mr. Ram, who is an entrepreneur, so he's the owner, okay, the boss. Naturally, He's from the top level management. Obviously, you must guess that he is the one who is doing the main planning function for sure. Apart from that, you will see he is taking into consideration, he is doing the required resources. So like we just saw, he's arranging resources. So Mr. Ram is the boss. So he's performing planning as well as he is doing the organizing of the various resources. All right. Now let's go to the next fellow, Mr. Sham. He's the manager, and his boss, Mr. Ram, has given him a specific responsibility. What is the responsibility? He's supposed to look after the recruitment, selection, training, as well as development of the staff. All of these words are the answer to the staffing function. So definitely we must note Mr. Sham is performing the staffing function. We will see later on how we are going to write the answer. Also, Mr. Ram has appointed another fellow called Mr. Shubham. And what is Mr. Shubham doing? He is supervising the work which is done by the employees. He is kind of checking on them. He is trying to see that whatever standards were given, are they achieving those standards? Is the work being done according to the standards? If not, he is suggesting remedies. Remember the words corrective actions. So in other words, Mr. Shubham is performing the last management function of controlling. And this is how your answers should be written. You please do not write only the word planning or only the word organizing. We are writing down Mr. Ram performs a function of planning and organizing. What's very important is you have to highlight these words of planning. You have to also highlight the word of organizing. Okay, so please make this a habit. Highlight these words and make sure that you are definitely. So what you can do is you can box these, and that's how your answer will become very, very easy for the teachers to correct the paper. The next one, Mr. Sham is performing the staffing function. Once again, you can box it. You don't have to use any color obviously in the exam. You just have to put a box around the word of staffing. So in one go, the examiner knows the answer, and that makes it super convenient for them to check the papers and create a very good impression. Here again, Mr. Shubham is performing, like we said, he is performing the controlling function. Please put a box around the word, highlight the answer for the examiner and make it very convenient for them to identify what your answer is, right? So we move to the next case study now. Most of the board papers so far, students have been very kind enough. They are giving the same questions which are there in the exercise behind. However, they might change the name here and there. So here from chapter number 4, Business Services, this is a case study on banking. I have changed the name from Miss Harshali to Miss Madhavi. Okay, everything else continues to be the same. So Miss Madhavi has started a new business 2 years ago, and her customers are spread out. She has, hence, all the customers are directly depositing their payments. So the customers need to pay Miss Madhavi, and they are doing it in her business account. So as we immediately get it, they're talking about the chapter of banking, types of bank account, and we know which one we are talking about when it is business account. It has to be the current account. At the same time, she pays various payments from the same account. So she is depositing, receiving payments, as well as making payments from this particular account. So under this, we see first question. Identify the type of bank account maintained by Miss Madhavi. So we do not write only current account. You see how you're going to mention your answer. Miss Madhavi, being a businesswoman, must have a current account to suit the needs of her business, right? So see how you make a simple sentence out of it, and you're picking up words from the passage to complete your sentence. The second question. Suggest any one modern way of money transfer. So, in your textbook, you have so many other e-banking topics. So, how else can Miss Madhavi transfer money? There is something called NEFT, there is IMPS. Under NEFT, you can transfer funds from one branch to another, one bank to another. So, as the question goes, we've suggested one modern. Question number 3. As we saw, Ms. Madhavi has a current account. So, which facility is available? As I said, again, a very popular question with the board. Ms. Madhavi gets overdraft facility on her current account. All right. So that's how your simple answers, one-line sentences. Moving to the next one, name of the chapter, easy to identify, emerging modes of business. I have again changed the names here. Rest is the same in the exercise in the textbook behind. Sita purchases a watch from Titan shop. She physically goes to the shop, sees the different models and chooses one. Her friend Geeta instead, she goes online and she purchases her watch from an online shopping site. The questions are, which shopping is from traditional business? Very simple. Traditional and e-business is a justify question, very important from that chapter. Plus, the same topic is also being asked for a, something like a case study. There is this justify about traditional business is, difficult than e-business. E-business is easier, as we saw in on the objectives now. So the question, which shopping is from traditional business? The shopping done by Sita from the Titan shop is the traditional business. The next one, which shopping is from e-business? The shopping done by Geeta from an online site is an example of e-business. The third question is slightly theory-based, which is not given here. If you will see which business involves higher risk, this is in the textbook on the topic of disadvantages or drawbacks of e-business, where you will find that e-business is slightly riskier because you are not facing face-to-face, buyer and seller are not meeting, and so there is no personal contact, and to some extent maybe online transactions may be at risk, at higher risk. So that's your case study on the chapter emerging modes. Another chapter, another topic from the same case study from the same topic. Abhay is buying articles online on this website called flipkart.com, and Sheetal is buying gifts from eBay. Of course, eBay is no longer popular, but since this case study goes in our textbook, let's discuss it. Which website is related to C2C, customer to customer? eBay is a website where customers can post their used old articles for resale. And that is why we see C2C is an example, eBay is an example of C2C. B2C, of course, is Flipkart, Amazon, all of these, Myntra. They are all business to customer, where directly the sellers get in touch with the customers and products are sold. The third question, which we see, first step that Abhay needs to follow if he wants to shop online, he has to register himself on the website. So once again, you read the sentences, how the answers have to be written. The website ebay.com is related to C2C. The website www.flipkart.com is related to B2C. And the third one, for shopping online, Abhay will have to follow the first step of registration. Quickly moving ahead, I think by now you've got the gist of it. You see the chapter here, consumer protection. In the chapter on consumer protection, Mr. Ashok is talking about a pair of shoes that he got. It did not fit him, and so he went to the consumer court. Kind of very difficult to believe who will go to the court for 700 rupees. In any case, I've just slightly altered the example here. Mr. Ashok is going to a store. The salesman in the car showroom insists that he must buy an electric vehicle, which is an automatic car. Mr. Ashok keeps saying that no, he would prefer a regular car, but the salesman convinces him, and he, kind of coerces him into buying the electric car. After he has bought the car, he is not comfortable driving to it. He goes back to the dealer. Dealer refuses to make any replacement, even though it was possible. The questions now: which right of Mr. Ashok has been violated? We are talking about the topic of rights of consumers. Extremely important. You will definitely get either a 4-mark or a 5-mark short note, or else you may get this case study, if not that question. So Mr. Ashok's right to choose has been violated. Since he is the consumer, he must have the decision-making power. As per his purchasing capacity, he should be able to decide what he wants. You see the second one now? You are supposed to comment. So remember, in case study, it is not just something which you can pick up from the paragraph or a word. You may even be asked a theory question. Like you have to write on answer in one sentence on consumer's right to choose. So if your first answer is wrong, like for example, you've written something about right to education, okay, and then your second answer also can go wrong. So maybe in case study, you can solve an extra one to make sure that the highest scoring marks are chosen. Similarly, according to consumer's right to choose, he has to decide. He should be able to choose the product as per his needs, choices, and his purchasing capacity. The third question that you have is, where can Mr. Ashok file his complaint? And the answer is, he can go to the consumer's forum. He does not have to go to the regular court because he has the right to be heard. Sunwai honi chahiye. So Mr. Ashok can go to the consumer's forum, and since the amount is less than 1 crore, he can go to the district commission for the filing of the complaint. That's your 6th case study. The last case study in my question bank. Now Mr. X purchases from a local shop, nearby shop, and Mr. Y is purchasing from outside the country, a mobile from Japan, Tokyo, and Mr. Z is purchasing an electronic good. So he is in Nandurbar and he's buying something from Delhi. Now, the questions are, as we see immediately, it's from the last chapter of marketing, topic of types of markets. Like I told you, lots of important objectives from there. Which type of market is Mr. X buying from? He is buying from the nearby area, and so you see the types of markets according to the area is local market. So the answer will be in the sentence form. Mr. X purchases from local market. Name the type of market from where Mr. Y deals. Answer is Mr. Y purchased from outside the country, which means he purchased from the international market. The third question. State the type of market from where Mr. Z purchased his goods. And as you see here, Mr. Z purchased from Delhi. That's from within the country. And so he is said to be having bought it from the national market. I hope the revision is going to be extremely helpful to you. Please, by heart, learn the answers. Remember, in ABT paper pattern, you don't have multiple choice, etc. So you have to actually learn and make sure that you know the answers very well. So I hope my videos are going to be helpful. Please do subscribe, like, share, comment. I will be posting lots of more revision videos. I will be keep posting you about it. If possible, I even intend to take live YouTube revision sessions. That's all for now. Thank you very much. Please do let me know in which ways can I become of more help to you. Thank you very much. That's all for now. Thank you. See you in the next video.